Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, today I look forward to hearing all the testimony today, as well as the answers to many questions that Americans have, I believe, from this panel. Indeed, like many of my colleagues, I have questions to pose to our witnesses. To the Chairman Bernanke, I'm interested to hear more about the Fed's ongoing relationship with AIG's leadership as they work together in running and also dismantling this entity on behalf of its largest shareholder, the American taxpayer. I'm also concerned, though, about the Fed's transparency and its independence in regard to publicly releasing details about AIG's counterparties. As the Chairman knows, it was back in December, I sent a letter asking for specific counterparties to AIG and who would benefit from that if they went insolvent. In reply I received on March 4th, I was told that, quote, in keeping with normal business practices, CDS contracts had not been made publicly available because counterparties and AIG considers this information to be commercially sensitive and non-public information, unquote. Then, lo and behold, just less than 2 weeks later, this information was released, and we found out just who those counterparties were, some being which foreign banks. So since it's my understanding that AIG doesn't do anything without the approval of Feds these days, why then did the Fed basically do an about-face on its policy of disclosing AIG counterparties? Was it in part due to bowing to pressure from the administration in what many would say is politically difficult times? And do you feel that there is pressure performing these regulatory functions, and those pressures undermine your independence in performing your monetary functions? But probably more important than that whole issue is, why didn't the Fed insist on negotiating with foreign and also domestic counterparties for a more reasonable resolution to these contracts, instead of paying a dollar for dollar, especially when we learned after the fact that many of these counterparties had themselves hedged their bets or hedged their exposures with AIG anyway? Next, I would also like to revisit Chairman Bernanke's assertion that AIG problems originated, as he said, when unregulated portions of its holdings company. But, you know, we heard testimony last week from the OTS Acting Director Polikoff that seems to contradict this assertion. Mr. Polikoff explained that OTS was actively regulating that division and was aware of AIG's CDS dealings, and that they did raise concerns with AIG back in 2005. From Secretary Geithner, many members of this committee, as well as the American people, would like a straight answer on the handling of the AIG bonus fiasco. The Secretary has been referred to as, quote, the original architect of the AIG bailout. There's also been some questions as to the extent of the Treasury's Department's involvement in altering provisions in the so-called stimulus package, ensuring that the bonuses would in fact be honored. Moreover, we are told he was informed about the bonuses at least a week and a half before they were paid out. We also know the Secretary has specific conversations with AIG CEO Mr. Liddy about it just a few days before. So as a Secretary-Treasurer and a representative of the United States and the people, which is the largest shareholder again in AIG, I would like to hear from the Secretary his recollection of that conversation with Mr. Liddy and the letter as well. And I would like to know if he raised these issues with the President before the bonuses were paid, and did the President sign off of them?
The gentleman from Texas for 3 minutes.